one of your biggest accomplishments in sports, you accomplished off the field. You are a massive advocate for equal pay. Can you tell me a little bit about that process, that journey, and what that meant to you?
Yeah, that's probably, if someone asked like my greatest achievement, I don't know that like it's my biggest goal I've ever scored, or the World Cup or the Olympics. Like, it's achieving equal pay on the international stage and creating that sort of domino effect, or as we like to say, butterfly effect, that helped other women in other countries and in the US, with their leagues and their teams, fight for equality in their sport, and outside of sport too. It was many years of fighting with our employer, which was weird to show up and be playing on behalf of US soccer and going and, having these meetings. And I was a part of, the athletes council. So I would go and I'd see everything. I would see people on other councils step up and say, you guys don't deserve as much as you're getting or as much as you're trying to get. You're going to be taking away from the kids, and you're going to be taking away from these other. And I'm like, we're not trying to take away from anyone else. We're just trying to get what we deserve. We open the books. We're seeing the revenue that we're bringing in. It's just as much as the men. Irregardless, we should still be getting the same contracts, irregardless of that. But seeing the revenue, we were like, and we have proof, and you're still fighting us. Without all this investment, without us on prime time, without us like getting on TV as much as the men, without FIFA stepping up and compensating the federation for the women's side as much as they do for the men's side. So all of these things, we had a great argument, a great PR team, great legal team, and achieved equal pay, finally in 2022. And that was like a moment that it was like, okay, this has changed forever. And it's not just like the ones who were named in the lawsuit and us that kind of like followed through with it, but it was also the ones that started it, the Mia Hamms, Julie Foudy, Brandy Chastain, all of them that really went around the country in 99, like selling tickets for the Women's World Cup, like by themselves, to get people into the stadiums, to be like, watch us, you'll enjoy this product, trust me. And fans did. And it was incredible, but it started back then. And I feel like it was just like us continuing on that fight. But we got to a point where like it could not continue on any longer like this. And that's where we were able to settle and achieve equal pay and back pay.
Now, how do you see that impacting the players that are currently playing, the players that will step into those roles in the next few years and generations from now? How do you see that impacting them? Like what stressors does that take off of them, or what does that say to them, and their contributions to the team?
Yeah, well, I mean, they just don't have to have the distraction of fighting their employer over how many coaches are there in comparison to the men. The fact that we used to get commercial flights and like I sat on a middle seat to London in 2012 for the Olympics, like the back seat, like the bathroom was behind my back in a middle seat. Just like not having to worry about that is great for these players. And I think that's like what some of us like older, more experienced players, who were going through this lawsuit and really, really spearheading it like day to day with our legal team realized is like, we're not necessarily going to be the beneficiaries of this lawsuit more than actually like the 18, 21-year-olds that are just coming in, because they're going to be the ones that hopefully won't even know a difference between the women's team and the men's team. They won't even really understand that at one point, not only was the pay vastly different, but the treatment in like the flights, the number of people on staff, et cetera, were were always, always, always a hot topic for discussion, and always a fight that we had to bring to the table. Like there was nothing ever given. And now for them to step into it and just have to play, I mean, no wonder the quality has just like gone through the roof. Which is why it was like easier for me to retire, because I was like, I am not the best anymore. And I am fine with that, because there are 21-year-olds that are far better than me and are going to go far more places and going to score far more goals than I do. And that's exactly what I fought for, was the opportunity for them to be able to do that and just like worry about playing soccer, not worry about having a fight for making enough money to be able to play soccer.
And how badass is it that Charlie's mom did that? You know what I mean? Like besides all of the women that you're impacting that are coming onto the team that are benefiting from the push that you and other players have made and that commitment that you guys made to make that change. But you are setting the example for your own daughter that when things are not acceptable, that you raise your voice and you speak up and stand up in a way that people have to listen. And I just think it's incredible that outside of all of the women that are directly impacted by this in the league, that you also have set that example for your own daughter, that's how you can sort of advocate for yourself and others.
Yeah. And I think that the fight was always like personal, but when I had a daughter, I was like, okay, it's even more personal now. Like this just hits home even more.